Welcome to 5T's Week 7 in review. This is Mr. Trewin. The focus in maths this week was on two-dimensional space, looking at symmetry, angles and quadrilaterals. We started the week by identifying what a quadrilateral is, with the answer being that it's a plane shape with four straight sides. From there, we looked at the difference between regular shapes and irregular shapes. Regular shapes are shapes where all of the angles are equal in size and all of the sides are equal in length. An irregular shape is a shape that doesn't have all sides equal in length and all angles equal in sides. Okay, so here's our protractor. The first thing we need to do with our protractor is find this center point here and line it up with the vertex of the angle. The vertex of the angle is where the two lines meet. So here's our angle. We bring our protractor down, we line up the center part there right on the vertex so that the bottom line, this little line here, this green line, comes along the bottom of our angle. Okay, so then we're ready to start. What we do is we find a lane. Now we know we're measuring this part of the angle, all of this stuff, all of this space, all in here. And so we need to find the zero, bring that back up, we need to find the zero that's down here. It's harder to see it there, but you'll see there's a zero just there. So our two options are either to go with the bigger amount there or the smaller. We always start on the zero. Now if we were measuring an angle over here on this side, then we'd find the zero over here. So we find the zero that we want to deal with and we would follow it up. We moved into a new concept, a new idea of symmetry, and that is to look at a thing called rotational symmetry. Rotational symmetry is basically if you rotate a shape and it fits within itself or looks the same, then you would say it has rotational symmetry. If we take this rectangle as an example, I've placed another rectangle underneath it, and if we place it over the top, we can quite easily visually see whether or not it has rotational symmetry. So if I spin it, what I do is I count every time it fits within itself, and as I spin it, okay, I'm waiting to see if it has rotational symmetry. No, 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 and there it is, there's a lock. So I would count one, no, keep spinning, and now I'm back to my starting point, but there's two. So I would say that this shape has a rotation. An order of rotation is the terminology that I would use. It has an order of rotation of 2. There's my 2. Okay. We finished up our unit on rainforests this week. We've been studying rainforests over the last 7 weeks, and students were asked to complete a post-assessment to see what they've understood and retained from throughout the unit. Questions included explaining what they know about rainforests, including what could be found within a rainforest. They had to name a specific rainforest in Australia and tell us what they've learned about the rainforest. From there, they had to write about as many rainforests throughout our world that they know about, and they had to talk about the processes of evaporation and transpiration, and they had to detail what they understand about the various layers of the rainforest: the emergent layer, the canopy layer, the understory layer, right down to the forest floor. And the last part of the assessment, students were asked to talk about how our rainforests are used by human beings, and to reflect on the impact of this usage. Last Thursday was St. Patrick's Day, and we had a special Mass up at the church. 6am led us through a Mass. We also finished our religion unit, The Reign of God, Reaching Out in Justice, and the students completed a post-assessment based on the material they've covered over the last 7 weeks. This week saw the introduction of a new whole school initiative to promote reading, and it coincides with 2011 being the official year of the rainforest. The idea we've come up with is that each class has a tree, whether it be a fruit tree or a tree with flowers on it, and as students read and count up their pages weekly, when they hit the 200 page mark, they're given a leaf. The leaf is then put up on the class tree, and when students get 5 leaves, they're given a flower or a fruit depending on the tree. So it's hoped that over the coming weeks, 5T's Banksia tree will become very leafy and covered in Banksia. Again, this is all in the hopes of promoting and building an interest and a passion for reading. Here's a recent picture taken of my children and I. In the middle there is Murphy, he's 4 months old, and my daughter Zooey on the right hand side is 4 years old. I just wanted to say thanks for taking the time out to listen to this podcast, I guess it is. And I just wanted to close with a funny little story from today's science lesson. I introduced the topic, environment matters, to the class, and we were having a bit of a